Good evening. It's another episode of Spencer Uncensored. This is episode number 85. 84 other times we've got on here together and had conversations around things that will help you build your, boost your momentum and build your mastery. Right? We're here to help you increase your productivity. We're here to help you increase your profitability, and we're here to help you increase your purpose, or at least tap into it so you know how to move forward. My name is Spencer Combs. If you've never been here before, I personally believe that professional development, right? The money, the business, the growth, the things that you want to have in your life are always going to come on the backside of personal development. Why? Well, simply because, number one, over 20 years of doing this now with business owners and business leaders, that's been my experience. But beyond that, businesses don't actually grow. People do. And so when we talk to the people and work with them individually and help them get the skills and the knowledge and the information to help them consistently move forward, then they get the results they want. So as you guys start rolling in here, go ahead and let me know where you're coming from. Drop it in the comments. I appreciate all of you. We're gonna I don't like my little setup here. I'm gonna need to, I probably should put, I got like diplomas and things and like certificates for like all my coach training and my, oh Lord, things from like Harv Eker and Richard Bandler and my NLP school and all those I got all those certificates. I guess I should probably put them behind me. But I just, for whatever reason, I'm not that concerned that you see all that stuff. But sometimes it helps, I guess, you guys see that maybe I'm not just some quack that decided to put up I've seen training nowadays for like $47 and become a life coach. Get the hell out of here with that shit. Anybody could be calling themselves a coach. I just heard my coach today talking about how the fact is it's such a commodity nowadays, right? People just drive, oh, I just want to be a coach now. Well, the average coach makes like 40-something thousand maybe. I don't know. I remember the number was fairly low. And I'm like, yeah, no. If some of these people don't know what the hell they're talking about. So anyway, we're here tonight. And I had just said it over on my personal page, and I think I put it on the business one too. I said, tonight's going to be a little spicy. Probably not going to be easy on the ears for any snowflakes in the crowd. Those of you that are easy to burn up on reentry, you're going to struggle with this one tonight. I don't know if it's just an issue on my end. Let me see it. Let me look on my social here, on my phone, because I don't see. Usually I got several of you guys on here. Oh yeah. See? On my phone, I see that I got a couple of you on here, but I see that Dan up in New Jersey said hello. That's annoying that I can't see it on my screen here, even though I'm supposed to see it in live time. Friggin' A. Well, I'll do my best to keep an eye out on the on my phone here. There we go. All right, so I'll do that, and then maybe I can keep up with the whole thing over here. So anyway, all right, guys, listen. Real fast, some announcements, just conversation about what I've got going on. We just did the Unshakeable weekend event this past weekend. It was a good time. It was 3 days of immersion, and those that came through it walked out with some very powerful changes in trajectory. Really, that's what happens at the Unshakeable weekend event. People change their trajectory, or they accelerate the speed and whatever path they're going, right? I'm thinking about one business owner got his hands in multiple things, and by the time it was all over with, I could sense that he wasn't gonna change like his entire trajectory, but he sure as hell was going to accelerate the process because he realized he needed to raise some standards, get some things going around his team, and build something bigger. Meanwhile, another attendee came. It was the same one that said to me, man, I got more out of this weekend than 26 years of therapy. And some of you might hear that kind of stuff and you're like, oh, so it's a therapy session. Shut the fuck up, because you don't know what the hell we're talking about. What he was referring to is that he came to this program and learned more about himself and what caused him to move forward and helped him get some closure about direction in his life than he had 26 years of sitting around on a couch somewhere with non-directive therapy. Now, I'm not throwing therapists under the bus and telling you that that's a terrible thing, because there are plenty of Plenty of situations where therapy is needed, but that's a healing discussion, right? Getting you back to center, getting you back to normal. Where coaching, the things that I'm doing with people, right? Our programs and systems, our book, Momentum and Mastery, all these things are designed to help you increase your performance. Go from being normal to above normal. Go from the middle of the mountain to the top of the mountain. Go from mediocre to high performance, right? We're talking, like my coach says, we're working with Navy SEALs, not baby seals around here, okay? I think it's funny when he says it every time. Anyway, so the Unshakable Weekend, we're going to be doing another one. Right now, I have penciled in the second weekend, I think it is, in November for Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I live. So we're going to be doing it here, and I'm probably going to be doing it my goal really is to do this on a regular basis. I would love to be doing one every month in a different city somewhere. So it's kind of the gateway drug into all the discussion, because at that point, then you've tasted the ice cream, you've gotten some changes set up, and now you're ready to go. So that's why the Unshakable Weekend event is probably the best thing for you to do. Once you've picked up a copy of the book over at momentumandmastery.com, it's probably just to come to the event. It's why we give you 2 tickets to the event when you buy the book. So go to momentumandmastery.com, go get your book. All right. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So tonight comes from tonight's energy. Tonight's energy comes to you because I have gotten some flack recently. By the way, how many of you like peanut M&Ms? I like peanut M&Ms. You know why we're going to eat peanut M&Ms? Because I want you to think about momentum and mastery every time you go to the grocery store and you see peanut M&Ms. You see yellow M&M, you need to be thinking about that book. Y'all good? All right, if you got your pencils, let's get down to it tonight. Let's get to it. So, recently, you would think that friends and people that have known you for a long period of time would be your biggest supporters. Turns out, not the case. And so I got a nice little dose of what we talk about in Momentum and Mastery when we're talking about the drift to drive framework. There is a difficult side, a dark side to building momentum. Most people love to just talk about the top, the inspirational stuff, right? Dreams and desires. Well, on the bottom side of that little graph, when you open it up and you look at it, on the bottom side, there is disturbance and decisions. That is the darker side or the harder side. It takes work, right? One's an internal, one's external. So tonight, we're going to be leaning in on the discussion of disturbances. What disturbs you? What stirs you up? I had this conversation with a real estate agent last week or the week before, I think, actually, because she was basically said, I'm not feeling it. So I just tapped into all the stuff what was she feeling, right? And few things will get you charged up more than the dark side. So if you're feeling a little stagnant tonight, we're probably going to tap into some shit that's going to get you wired up like a motherfucker. I'm telling you, tonight is that night. So if you're ready, let's get rolling. I love it. I just noticed that it actually edits for me. I love that. It's got the little thing down there. Perfect. All right, let's get rolling. So, let's get rolling. Number 1. If you really want to build a chip on your shoulder and you want to get some energy going, you want to get disturbed, tap into your past failures and your setbacks. You just need to remember something here. There have been some hurts in your past, some things that caused you some pain. Tap into those things. Think about them, where you were doubted, maybe where you were dismissed, where you were overlooked. Use those memories as fuel. I say that all the time. Use it for fuel. Own your mistakes. I've done some dumb stuff in my past. owing people money and doing all kinds of stuff, right? All that really weighs on me. Embrace those past failures and setbacks. I'm telling you, that's one of the fastest ways to get in, tapping into that deep, dark part of you that causes the energy to help you move forward and get the momentum you need. Feeling a little stagnant? Yeah, there's number one. Number two. Y'all good? Y'all been quiet. I don't see anything. Number two. Focus on your critics. You got any naysayers? Got some people that are, telling you, man, maybe you should stop doing this whole entrepreneurial thing. Or, I don't know that you're a really good manager anyway. I don't know that you could lead a whole group of people. Maybe it's your own inner critic of your own, or it's a voice in your head from somebody that you used to know from a long time ago, and you think that that's what they're saying. Keep that voice in mind. It's not to bring you down. It's intended to push you to work harder. Turn that doubt, turn that conversation, and turn it into determination. There we go. Somebody needs to tweet that one for me. Turn your determination, or turn that conversation into determination. That's that's another strategy for building energy and creating forward movement. If you want to get yourself charged up pretty fast, focus on those critics. It'll do it. I promise. Number three. I'm going to roll through these pretty quick because we could sit on these things all night. How many did I write down? I wrote down 10 of them. So let's move. Number three. Channel negative emotions. Few things will get you moving more than anger. And what I want you to understand is that anger is a secondary emotion. It's not the primary emotion. Anger, if you're trying to figure out how to tap into your anger, by the way, understanding that it's a secondary emotion to a disappointment, meaning an expectation was not met. When you understand that, you can look around and find all kinds of expectations that haven't been met in your head, and you can create a powerful motivator when you use that to drive yourself forward. You got a barrier in front of you? Get angry. You got something that's holding you back? Get angry. You got a challenge in front of you? Get angry. The fear of failure and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you don't want to be like everyone else. You're looking to become a strong, tap into that motivation through channeling the negative emotions. If you got fear, good. Embrace it. Use it for fuel. If y'all aren't charged up, I sure as hell am tonight. Woo. All right, moving along. Number 4. Set high standards. Now, what does that have to do with getting disturbed? Well, you got to demand high levels of standards from yourself. When you do that, you're going to have to be ruthlessly accountable to yourself with your time, with your money, with your energy. When you miss the mark, it's going to start building a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You're going to have I got to do better. I must do better. You're never going to want to settle, especially when somebody else says to you, haven't you had enough? Aren't you, man, you're doing okay, aren't you? Shut up. Get out of my face. This is not part of my standard. My standard is I want to be at the mountaintop, not the mediocre life like everybody else around me has. Number 5. This one I struggled with a little bit. This one I got from, I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure this one came from Tim Grover. By the way, you want a good conversation around the dark side? Go read any of his books, right? Winning and Relentless. He talks about tapping into the dark side. It's one of the best ways, right? So if you want to, number 5 I wrote down was creating a rivalry. You got to have a common enemy. You got to have some kind of an enemy or a rivalry that you are pressing against. Right? Yeah, Dan. Relentless is definitely a good book. It could be I'll tell you what I'm looking at here. I'm trying to figure out kind of, because I don't know that I have anybody in the industry in my space that I'm really like I have as a rivalry. But there's plenty of gurus that'll tell you should be a little polarizing, right? Because it helps kind of create, it moves people forward and they know what camp you're in. For me, I remember more coming across as it's a spiritual warfare. There's a lot of things that are holding you back. There's a lot of things in the spiritual realm that are holding you back. I do not believe that we were born to play small. And with that belief, I believe that there's a lot of forces wanting to help keep you down. And what I'm here for is to fight that battle, whether it's inside my own head or whether it's standing side by side with someone else who's fighting their own mental, emotional, or even possibly a physical battle. You have to have a war-type mentality when it comes to getting yourself moved forward. And if you're going to do that, you got to have some kind of a opposition or some sort of force that you are working against. Number 6, you need to be comfortable being alone, right? You got to embrace isolation in some way. The reason I say that is because being an entrepreneur and doing your thing and stepping in your own path and working your way forward doesn't always have a bunch of people coming to your side and we're all skipping together to the mountaintop. It ain't happening that way. Usually you're doing it on your own. And if there is anybody with you, it's a very, very select group of people that are there to support and be a part of what you're doing because you have sold them the mission of going to the mountaintop. When you're getting a little lonely, when you're feeling a little misunderstood, and people don't know what the fuck you're doing because they don't understand it, let them be okay with that. And you use those feelings of loneliness for fuel. I'm on my own path. Use it for fuel. Whew. Yeah, this one's spicy. I don't know how it's going to get cut up into little bits next time. I still got 7, 8, 9, and 10 to go. Let's roll. Number 7. Remember what you've given up. For you to take the path of being an unshakable leader and really get where you want to go, you're going to have to remember that some of the stuff that you've given up, some sacrifices you've made. One of the people that we just started coaching with, 14 years he was commuting out of state for work. There was a sacrifice that happened for his children back then and his wife. Use it for fuel. Let the weight of that drive you, make you sharper, get you driven even farther. Embrace that pain. Number 8, internalize your identity as an underdog. I don't know what your favorite movie is, but I'm going to, by the way, if you're watching this later on, maybe drop it in the comments, but, your favorite movie. But I'm going to tell you, most of your favorite movies are going to be ones that have some sort of an underdog story. Everybody loves the comeback story. Mine is a really old movie. I think it was probably done in the early 80s. Pretty sure it was the early 80s. An Officer and a Gentleman. Literally, I can quote most of the movie. For whatever reason, I love that movie. Right? You know what, Dan? I haven't seen Rudy. I'm going to have to look at that. But An Officer and a Gentleman. Why? It took me until I was older to realize I was looking at him and realizing that despite his childhood and the way things were, he fought his way out to go do something with his life. And he learned how to have a good relationship, and he learned, or at least, got better at it. Understand that you need to take on the underdog mentality. Stay humble. Stay hungry. You don't need to let your success make you feel like it's okay. You got to get stirred up on a consistent basis and remind yourself that you have more there for you to go after. Dig deep. You are the underdog, and your opponent is still a big one. You're going to die fighting this battle. Number 9. Picture yourself winning. Right? Visualization exercises can get you tapped into the dark side pretty quick. Remember the people that are against you. The ones that have wronged you. The ones that have doubted you. Stood in the way even. Fine. Right? The ones that say, oh, they're great with you in your face. And then to everybody else, they got something to say. Remember those people. And then visualize your success. You're going to tap in on that. The last one, the only way I can really say this is that commitment and focus conversation that we have in the mastery portion, right? So get rid of the distractions. You've got to be committed to where you're headed. So anything and anyone that does not contribute or line up with your goals, if they are not relevant to where you are headed, cut them out. You need to be obsessed with your goal. If you want to get where you're going to go, guys, these are 10 things you can do right now to tap in to the dark side of your inner mind and get you moving. If you're too much into that dream, I want, an inspirational stuff, I'm not going to downplay that because it's required. Some people stay in this constant state of disturbance. You need the dream and you do need the desires. However, if that's not coupled to all the things we just talked about tonight, you're living in la la land. All of this should drive you into a position of decision. And those decisions should be stacking every day. Daily stacking of decisions to take action and to move forward. You're committed to an outcome. You have a purpose when you do all of this. So friends, I appreciate you being here. I love all of you. I'm grateful for those that come on here and listen to this, whether it's now or whether it's in a repeat. Take what we talked about tonight and do something with it. Tap in. Get yourself going. Don't let the enemy get the better of you. There's way more available from inside of you. So with all that being said, you guys have a great night. Go get the book, Momentum and Mastery, if you haven't already, at the website. Keep well. Keep moving forward.